Welcome to Evolution in Controls. I'm your host, Tim Wilson. Thank you for joining us. Over the past few years, a notable trend has been unfolding in the mobile industry. It's driven by the exponential increases in the capabilities of electronic control systems. The trend is the growing adoption of electronic controls to replace traditional manual controls. A newer, younger generation who favor the electronic controls are joining the workforce. But the change is not without risks and costs, and any hesitation on the part of a mobile OEM to fully adopt this innovation, well, that creates a different risk factor. Will this cause these mobile OEMs to lose market share? Will their more manually controlled machines be able to outperform their competition? And even if these OEMs decide to adopt the newer controls, the decisions and risk factors do not end there. New questions arise like, what are the best fit technologies to adopt? How do you effectively navigate the transition? What resources are available to teach employees and users about this new technology? To help us answer these questions is Mauro Silva, Sales Manager for Mobile Electronics at Bosch Rexroth, and Mr. Kevin Kegarise, Vice President of Mobile Sales at Mauro Group. Mauro, Kevin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, Kevin, you're a repeat guest on here. You've been with us before. Mauro, this is your first time. Welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Mauro. I'm 12 years in Rexroth, 17 years at all in total in mobile world. I started my career as a design engineering and in OEMs. Then I migrated to Rexroth as a sales engineer, and there I was responsible for mobile application, and now finally here working with sales, mobile electronic and electrics.
Awesome. Kevin, how long have you been with Mauro?
Well, I don't want to say I lose track, but it's 23 years. It just seems like it's blending in year after year. We have so much fun.
Just seems like forever? Yeah. Is that what you're thinking?
No, it's, I've been focused on mobile applications and supporting mobile OEMs my whole career, and I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
And now you've got a team of people focusing on mobile applications.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're here to talk about electronic controls in the mobile marketplace. So let's dive right in. Mauro, tell us about it. Emerging controls, new controls?
Yeah, I like to normally explain what pursues us to really implement electronic in the machine is the same behavior that we use in the past to migrate from open sensor to load sensors, really to improve the machine performance, the machine efficiency, and in a way that we can enhance the operation to be more profitable.
Okay, all right. Kevin, are your guys actively involved in the adoption and implementation of these controls? Are they promoting the products? What role do they play in this?
Yeah, so Tim, I think there's a consultative role that we play to educate the customers, but also at the same token, understand the direction of a marketplace. So, if a function or a benefit to a customer doesn't realize an added functionality on their machine, why talk to them about it? So we have to assess the OEM ourselves, but then we also expect our teams to have the knowledge of the applying of the products. And it's not just, let's just sell you a controller or one sensor, but let's sell you a system type solution. So it could be everything from the pump to the valve to how we control the valve. So what we're talking about today is we used to control the valve with manual levers, which there still are industries that's applicable to. There's going to be log splitters for a long time that no one's going to want to put much more than just a very rudimentary valve into that application.
All I need to do is pull the handle.
Absolutely. But, that evolution today to move to maybe having a wired solenoid that we're actuating from the cab or from a user console, but then even stepping aside and having maybe a radio frequency remote control. I don't know if you know Mauro, with our acquisition of Lore Mobile Controls, we have a product offering of radio frequency remote controls, power distribution modules now that we can scale to the OEM's application, which we've never had before. So, and then we get down to the sensors around the machine that we can integrate as well. that are going to be specific to the various functions on the customer's piece of equipment. So yes, our teams working with Rexroth, our partner, absolutely, we play a great role in the application and implementation of these solutions.
Are these technologies that Kevin's talking about, the sensors, is that part of the product offering or the solution offering that Bosch Rexroth brings?
Yes, we try to bring a solution from end to end. So I mean, based on sensors, controllers, and software, standard software that we can offer to our customer based on their application in order to shrink the development time, the development costs. So some typical applications that we do have, for example, valve control or ground drive systems, we have years of experience developing the software, fine-tuning, make them really intelligent and complete, and we bring all the set to our customer as a way to shrink the development time.
Is the development time long? I mean, what's the sales cycle? Is it 1 month, 1 year, 18 months?
It can be both, right?
Okay.
It can vary
it can be
a lot.
short
Absolutely.
or it could be long.
Longer. But if you rely in software that we're already validated, that is the case. What we are trying to bring to our customers, it can be very low. So one ground drive system you can commission in maximum 2 weeks. So this can be very fair. But if you're gonna design your system, your control system by the scratch, you might need a longer lead time. So, or benefits or value proposition to the customer is really to deliver a complete solution with software.
If I could comment on that, the advantage of working with someone like Bosch Rexroth on these types of implementations is the complete system. So Rexroth understands the dynamics, mechanical dynamics of a pump and a valve and a gearbox and the limitations and the inefficiencies. And they can program for that mechanical response of those components into software that's available. So now that's not your learning curve to endure yourself as an OEM. That is a big, big unknown, depending on the capability of the person that's going through that or the company that's going through that. So working with someone that goes from electronics to the mechanical components and understands both. I had somebody say to me the other day, Bosch Rexroth is a giant electronics company dabbling in hydraulics. And the reason for making that statement is if you look at what Bosch does across their entire product portfolio, Bosch, that we know in different marketplaces, their electronics footprint is second to none. Their quality, their manufacturing, their availability of componentry for manufacturing the products, it's unparalleled. So why would you want to work with anyone else?
Well, let me play the advocate here, the opposite advocate here for a second. And we're talking about a redesign that could be very time intensive, very long. It sounds like these systems are complicated. There's software, there's electronics. I hear dollar signs. I don't know that it's how much, but why is the market driving it? Why is the market driving it from mechanical to electrical?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the main answer for that is because you can introduce more automated function in the machine that enhance the operational ability of the machine. And for example, you can have a wheel loader, and by installing some inertia sensors in the boom and in the bucket, you can, for example, limit the maximum height or make the return to dig, or make the active damping control that enables you to run the machine faster. So all of this benefits really outpace the fact that you're adding cost to your machine.
Or taking time, or an investment of time. So you're saying my machine works better, works smarter, works faster.
Exactly.
And less dependent on the operator's skill level. So if you think about that, in today's workforce and climate, getting skilled operators is more and more of a challenge. So if I can make my machine less dependent on the operator, now as the end customer that's buying that machine, I have more uptime on my machine.
But aren't the controls really going more towards game-like controls? Is that something that's happening?
Yeah, for sure. The user experience,
Yes,
the
yes.
environment, we've actually had customers say, I would like to make my console or my displays more video game-like. And it's a assessment of the individuals or the generations of operators that are working on that equipment.
Mauro, let me ask a different question. Let me take a different approach to it. A manual system, easy to maintain, easy to operate, maybe less expensive. Are these electronic controls, are they more difficult to deal with out in the field to maintain or maybe troubleshoot?
Yeah, I think to be fair, we need to compare apples to apples. And when we talked about the mechanical controls, of course, you do not have the same interlock or same functions that you can carry in the electronic. And on top of that, you for sure to maintain the mechanical one, you're gonna have to have a training, right? For the electronic, same thing, you're gonna have to have a training. But the biggest advantage on the electronics is that if you do a software in a way to implement diagnostics functions, you can really indicate properly to the operator where the failure is. And this shrinks the downtime of the machine. And this is really a benefit. So again, the electronic, it depends on how you design it. But normally you can design in a way to be clever and gentile with the maintenance guys.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Kevin.
I got something to add there because traditionally our customers might get a call from the field. My machine won't move. Do you have a gauge? Can you go hook a gauge into a mechanical port? Now they might say, press a combinations of button on your display and I'm going to put you into a diagnostic screen and read to me the case pressure, read to me this pressure. Now the engineer at our OEMs that's on the other end of the phone, he already has a roadmap to what might be happening on that machine before the customer could even open a toolbox to get the wrench out required to put a gauge into the system.
Interesting. Well, electronic controls in the machines, it gives it more capability, you've said. It improves the troubleshooting, the feedback, more precise. What does the future look like? 5 years down the road, Kevin, where is the controls going to be?
Yeah, I think operator safety is a big evolution that's coming. So the ability to sense situations on the machine, make most situations as safe as possible for the user is coming to more and more applications. And how to, by legislation, if Europe leads in legislation and standards around that, understanding that and applying principles and products that meet that legislation, it will eventually come to the North American market. But that evolution is happening. We're seeing more and more customers ask, I'm sending machines to Europe, I have to meet these standards, so evolving into safety. But it's not just safety that's dictated by legislation, it's safety that's desired for the performance on the machine. How do I put a bubble around the operator and keep them safe?
Mauro, what do you think 5 years from now?
To complement Kevin's answer, I think we'll keep searching for more efficient components.
Okay.
So I think definitely the electric vehicles for certain operation, depending on the data cycles, we're gonna see more and more. And also all the telematics package and the benefits that you can have it by running remote services to the machine. I think that for sure we're gonna see in the next years.
So safety and more features, more technology.
Exactly.
All right, guys, we're out of time. Thank you very much for appreciating. Mauro, thank you for coming. And Kevin, it's good to see you again. Maybe we'll have you back in a year from now and talk about what's happened.
Okay.
All right.
Dylan.
Thank
Great.
you, guys. To learn more about Bosch Rexroth and their mobile solutions, visit boschrexroth.com. To learn more about Morel and their systems and solutions, visit morel-group.com. Don't forget to subscribe to Evolution in Controls on whatever platform you use for podcasts or on YouTube for a video version so you can be updated when we release new episodes. Thank you again for joining us today. I'm Tim Wilson, and remember, keep moving.